I'm sorry, wifey, the gray rat gene runs deep and I must leave you to be a single mother while I go on a journey with another woman. A super horny one at that. It's that time in the story where fantasy isekai shine. What cling clanks, pew pews, and stranger dangers give you dangerous erections. We get to move on from the lovey-dovey slice of life and all that character development that killed and revived Rudy's second staff.
My life's pleasures and problems doesn't matter as much anymore.
It's time to succubus. The more responsibilities and relationships you have, the more each and every decision you make will disappoint someone. It's time for Rudis Doranuma Grey Rat to stop neglecting his firstborn son's duties to his Kasan, who probably has been taken advantage of while he's been clapping Sylphie's cheeks. Now, it is time to move on to new cheeks. I mean, save mom. It's time to save Kasan. Spoiler warning, guys, this is Mushoku Tensei Season 2 Episode 19, Sabaku no Tabi. After Rudy comes to the realization that life is regrets, the hook of the episode is quite the lengthy one, where he tries to inform everyone of his major decision that he's supposedly going to regret. From the man god's perspective, imagine telling everyone that you're gonna save your Kasan, and then they're like, what about me? I'm looking at you, 7 stars. Rudy tells Alina and Lise first about his 16-month plus trip to Begarit. Alina and Lise tells him how much she loves side quests. I mean, I'm joking, guys, but her character is basically, I do what I want because I'm
Horny.
inconvenient for the plot. Alina and Lise tells Rudy that she would take care of it, he doesn't really need to go, but in the end, she agrees to go with Rudy. And with Rudy, he must commit to his monogamy.
I shall not be an Eskimo bro with my own dad.
Or is he? You know what? That would be pretty messed up. But let's be real here. Cliff wouldn't mind. Rudy then brings up the metal diaper that will help partially subside her cursed libido. Alina and Lise didn't have it in her to tell Cliff about the trip to Begarit. Rudy gives some basic sitcom advice like, just go talk to him about your future. That's not about breaking up. Wait a goddamn minute. That sounds a lot like what Ares did. Alina Lise is trying to cold turkey ditch, and what Rudy is recommending to her is basically wait a long ass time and we may or may not be still together. Guys, if you ever tell someone, hey, it's been 2 years, I gotta go to the military and all this, and you're just boyfriend or girlfriend, it's time to break up. There's no need for no monkey in the middle crap because someone's gonna be throwing their monkey and someone will be in the middle. And that person will not be Cliff. Rudy ponders about his trip to Begarit that will at least take 16 months to get there, which is a massively long time if everything goes according to plan. It's one thing to tell your wife about this long journey and get everyone to buy in from the family, but it's another thing to tell your side chick that seems like she needs you more than your wife.
Get his ass, Orsted.
Rudy enters Nanahoshi's room to deliver the unfortunate news that he will be going to the labyrinth city of Rappan on the Begarit continent, so no more booty calls.
Get his ass, Orsted.
Rudy tries to get away as fast as he can before comes back. Silent 7 Stars ponders the 2 years of MIA booty teleportation that she will be missing out on, delaying her experiments to get her butt back to Earth before Rudy can hit it and quit it as fast as he can. Nanahoshi pulls out a book to give to Rudy. Apparently, it's a map of teleportation circles from all over the world. She tells him that this map shows where to find Sharia to Begarit, and right on cue, Rudy's like,
Bitch, you've been lying to me?
side chicks always have ulterior motives, guys. This relationship was built upon Rudy's mana juices. I guess her name is silent for a reason. Nanahoshi brings something up about remembering about Rappan and that she kept it a secret because the government. The government is always trying to erase history and make life worse. Now that Nanahoshi is going to be dry of Rudy's mana juices, now she's not so scared of the government. Seeing that Rudy's journey would hurt Nanahoshi's motivations with her experiments, if Rudy can get to this teleportation location in 1 month, it could shorten his journey to where he can make it back to see Sylphie give birth. When things sound too good to be true, let's just stay level-headed and meet halfway of that too good to be true. And who the hell wants to see someone give birth? JK, JK. But Are we though, guys? It's pretty disgusting. Rudy gives his thanks, but Nanahoshi is just like,
I need that Rudy Booty back here ASAP.
guys, that was like 4 or 5 minutes of the episode for the hook. 1, we have the traveling warrior horde to go with Doranuma, and 2, clearing up things with Nanahoshi is a good thing, before Daddy Orsted gives him one of these. Nanahoshi really did do a good favor in helping Rudy shorten his journey with the teleportation shortcut thing, but she should show some empathy too, and I think we're all negative thinkers in the perspective that, hey, Zenith is not with her family, she's a slave somewhere, and of course slavery is associated with abuse, and I can't stop thinking about how she's getting abused. Even though Nanahoshi's situation is pretty bad, I mean, she's still living a pretty decent life being not a slave. Side chicks, man, they only want you for your mana juices. So after the opening credits, Rudy breaks the news to his family.
Wifey, number 1 Imoto, almost number 1 Imoto, I'm gonna save Kasan.
He apologized to Sylphie like,
Hey, promises are meant to be broken. I mean, don't worry, I'll be back.
with Nanahoshi's super secret info that's not intimately relationship oriented, Rudy can make it back in time to see a little baby's head pop out of Sylphie's monkey.
Number 1, almost number 1, you got this. And let's name the baby before I go, cause you guys are all the parents now.
Doranuma Jr.?
Don't be silly, maid.
Everyone's worried about the curse of naming babies early like this with him not actually being there, so I guess little Doranuma Jr. will be put on hold. Rudis tells everyone to take care of each other because, like every great gray rat, responsibilities are passed on. Rudy meets up with potential beast wife Linnea and Persena to deliver the news. Their voices don't really matter. Then he tells Vice Principal Genius about his schooling being on hold. He decides to borrow a couple books on teleportation and beggar it to help with his travels, which of course isn't there to be random and somehow going to be useful. Rudy comes up with a plan like 1 week here, 1 month there, save mommy and daddy.
Bada bing, bada boom.
You make it sound so easy, Rudy. So easy, like maybe this could have happened sooner. Everyone gathers around the cursed mansion for the send-off for Rudy and Alina Elise. The Sip does and says simp things and delivers Rudy the anti-horde metal pantsu. Alina Elise cries and gives a hug back to Cliff, and this continues one of the funniest, comedically ironic relationships in the show. Cliff is just built differently, guys. Sylphie gets sad like a pregnant wifey should. It's tough being Miss Grey Rat. Just ask Zenith. Wait a minute. Alina Elise tells Sylphie, I'll protect your men. I'm the type of character all feminists can get behind. Sylphie gives her appreciation to Bachan. Number 1 and almost number 1 Imoto gives their Ganbatte Nichan. And just like that, the journey begins. Wow, we're really back on a real isekai fantasy adventure, guys. I don't even remember the last time we did something like this in the story. We get a little Tabi montage, then action. Both Rudy and Alina Elise make it to the ruin. Rudy says like an incantation of some sorts like,
Dragon, dragon, dragon. Oh, so trippy.
Eventually they make it inside the ruin and stumble upon the teleportation thing. Rudy tells Alina Elise that they have to touch each other to cross the teleportation. They hold hands and make it through. This is going to be the most sus, I think they're banging type of journey that should get all parties involved jelly. Then we have an intriguing scene that isn't just randomly placed there to make sure they can go back and forth between the teleportation. They decide to go back to make sure it works going back. But Alina Elise says that she'll do it solo, cause Real Paul would complain about what she's done to his little Doranuma. During this abnormally long lag time of Alina Elise coming back through the portal, Rudy stumbles upon what looks like Orsted's clothes. Imagine if Nanahoshi really has Orsted in her back pocket. Rudy is seriously screwed. Alina Elise makes it back and Rudy mentions how long it took her to come back, but for Alina Elise, it felt almost instantaneous. Both Rudis and Lise make it outside the other side of the ruin to greet a setting sun. What do we have here? Sabaku, a freaking desert and beggar it. Because of the dangers of the night, Alina Elise says they should ruin and chill until the next day. It's so damn hot, Rudy trying to drink all the water he can. It becomes late at night again. This purple haze comes running through their tent as Rudy gets extremely extremely horny, and Alina Lise stays super duper horny. Rudy is trying to back out of his building erection and stops himself short to go outside. There, he sees a fine ass desert chick where Rudy must relieve what he needs to relieve. Then, before he can get some Sabaka no Onna booty, Alina Lise succubus blocks Doronuma with the only action he will allow himself to get. After Alina Lise dragon roads the succubus, Rudy is still feeling the succubus's horny purple haze of pheromonal power. He tells Alina Lise, "Let's get dirty."
Skebeshioya.
Orsted, get him! Alina Lise makes fun of him for a moment, and then we get Sabaka Tabi Suzuki. Let's get dirty.
Skebeshioya.
They fight some more monsters and stop by a small desert town with water and surprisingly tasty food. This sparks another montage, with it concluding with another night. Alina Lise has had enough. Time to get some more non-cliff booty. Imagine traveling with a chick that's always horny. This is truly Rudy's next big character development. Giving in. Then, Griffins. We got ourselves a turn-based JRPG, farming some monsters. At least we got to see some cool teamwork in action. However, the real dilemma with real consequences will have to wait. It's another night and Alina Lise compliments Rudy's seasoning, because we all know men belong in the kitchen. Ain't that right, feminists? Alina Lise starts licking something salty off her fingers, and Rudy tells her it ain't time for that. As Rudy scolds Alina Lise about her salty manners, Alina Lise mentions some insightful Zenith character development. Please, nothing salty for Rudy's sake. Let's be real with Zenith. Zenith has gotten done dirty in all types of ways since Rudy was born. She is probably the one character I feel the worst for in the show. Poor Kazan. Our main character doesn't care about enough, and it might be too late. Alina Lise points out how much Rudy is just like her mom. Both Rudy and Zenith were around the same age when Alina Lise met her, and that's when Real Paul scooped her up to add to his harem. Apparently, she was a clueless 16-year-old girl. I mean, let's be real, we were all dumb at 16 years old, but to be scooped up by Real Paul? That is pretty questionable. Rudy mentions about Real Paul wanting to apologize to Alina Lise and was asking if she was willing to divulge her hanky-panky endeavors, but Alina Lise warns him not to ask about side booty affairs. We all knew what Real Paul be doing. He's like every other man. He got that gray rat in him. Rudy says that Real Paul will probably apologize and repent, and Alina Lise says that she will not be dragon roaded again. Like how they went to Renoa Magic Academy together, Doronuma and Miss Dragon Road makes it to their destination in this beautiful desert city of, and that's where the episode concludes. The first half of the episode really ties up some loose ends, and Rudy was able to leave on a fairly good note, even with Nanhoshi. It wasn't bad as it seems, and the fact that he really had the cojones to tell her what's up, it helped them in the end with being able to shorten his journey. If her experiments were really relying on one man, I mean, she's kinda screwed either way. Just don't tell Orsted. The second half of the episode really fed us with isekai fantasy adventure, ruins, teleportations, succubus, monsters, magical powers. It really was setting us up to get the audience back into that exciting, adventurous kind of mood that removes a bit of that safe feeling, slice of life feel. Now the story feels right to reinsert really thick plot elements. Who knows? Maybe Real Paul has been captured in a cage, like when Rudy and Geese was captured in that one cage. Maybe when they finally show up, they're gonna be able to see how Zenith's life, how terrible it really is for her. Maybe we might see some Rudy and Roxy action again. Other than those characters, if any of the other kind of side characters, something significant happened to them, I don't think as an audience from a story building standpoint that we would really care what happens to those characters. But if anything happens to the more main side characters, it will have a more severe impact on us watching it, and to really feel and vibe with Rudy's perspective of how regretful it was that he didn't try to save his mother sooner. So we get to see all this kind of character development setting up for something that orbits all that. But this episode really got us back into shape to kind of feel for that kind of plot as we shift for something that's more slice of life to hopefully something that is a seriously insane plot with real consequences. like that one gray rat that got. Overall, this episode felt like a transitional kind of episode to start to get us back into how serious it is to save Zenith and the others. The conversation between Alina, Lisa, and Rudy starts that character development for Zenith. We need to understand her character, who she really is beyond being just a wife and mother. Not only is this a serious, crazy family reunion, it should be one that will give us a mixture of this tear-jerkingly dark, disappointed, and maybe even a deadly fight for Rudy's mom. It's going to be interesting to see what kind of character development comes from this and how unpredictable the story will lead us, other than Rudy showing up, saving the day, and gets to see Sophie deliver Dornuma Jr. That is the setup, and I can't wait for Rudy to slip up and slip in and out of this primal situation. One last time, Orsted. So guys, let me know what you guys thought about this episode and everything up until this point. It's nice to see at certain fork in the roads or certain plot points to see what would you do in the story. How would you make this story a bit differently? Where would be the end goal of if you were trying to create a story like this, with how Rudy will have to deal with saving his mom? What kind of character development are you expecting to see out of Rudy, and how will all the other characters be affected by this crazy situation where Zenith has been gone for years at this point, living as a slave? So yeah guys, let me know what you guys thought about this episode and everything up to this point. Respect the journey, because we all die anyway. So yeah, do me a favor guys, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. Check out my blog at otakusen.com, and I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.